Have you read the Bible?
I mean, I've read the majority of it. I haven't read all of it.
Let me ask you a question. If I say in Islam, I want you to tell me your opinion. If I say in Islam, Islam teaches that if a woman does not cover her head, we should shave her hair. What do you think about that?
Uh, that's pretty insane. I think that pretty much affirms why I don't follow Islam at that point.
That's why you wouldn't follow Islam, right?
Yeah, that sounds insane.
Okay, if I said to you that Islam teaches that the woman doesn't have any right for divorce. So even if the husband beats her or whatever, maybe if he cheats on her, maybe, but she doesn't have any ground for divorce. And if she's divorced, she cannot marry anyone else. What would you think if Islam teaches that?
That makes okay. So see, now I see why the article said that the Middle East had the higher rate of violence. It's because of that, isn't it? It's
because of these teachings, right? What if I say to you the Qur'an? Wait, step by step. What if I tell you the Qur'an teaches that women should remain silent? They shouldn't teach a man because a man is their higher authority. They should remain quiet in places of worship. And because the man was formed first, he's greater than them. Okay? And they are lesser beings from that sense. He's the head of them. And they need to be quiet and not teach a man or assume authority over a man. What would you think about that as well? On top of what I said to you. I want your honest opinion. Unfiltered, honest opinion.
Completely, I personally refute that, but I remember seeing something like that in the Bible specifically, and if they both say that, I can't really refute that.
But the other things as well you didn't like about the covering the head and all of these things. You said that's why you love all this, right?
That explains why the Middle East has a higher rate of violence, like the study said. So I think that
perfect
follows. I won't follow it.
Perfect. Do you know I was just quoting the Bible to you, and the Quran doesn't say any of that? Do you see how you said to me, look, this is a problem with all due respect to you. This is a problem with overwhelming majority of Christians today. You don't know what their book says. And all of these things I mentioned to you, none of them are in the Quran. Quran, yes, Allah commands women that is pious and modest to cover your head. Allah doesn't say anything about shaving the head. However, Corinthians says that. 1 Corinthians chapter 11, verse 6 in particular, if you'd like to check. Everything I just told you about, like, for example, not being able to divorce at all unless it's adultery. And if you're divorced, you're not allowed to marry anyone. That's in Christianity. In Islam, you don't need only divorce. You can divorce for, let's say you're not physically attracted to your husband. You can divorce. For that simple reason. For abuse, domestic abuse, for any of these problems, you can get divorced. But in Christianity, the religion that you're saying you're following, and you're saying, I wouldn't follow Islam if that was in Islam, right? Islam doesn't say the woman should remain quiet. All I told you about women remaining quiet and the man is the head, all of that is the New Testament. Corinthians is the New Testament. Everything I'm telling you right now about divorce, this is Jesus' statements in Matthew. All of this is New Testament. Don't worry, I don't need to go to the Old Testament because I know Christians will say, oh, the Old Testament is like this. If I go to the Old Testament, it's worse, my friend. I didn't even go to the Old Testament yet. But you see the problem. Christians, they can point the finger. It's very easy. You live in a glass house. You point the finger, you throw rocks. You have no clue what your book says. Most Christians. So in reality, you don't know, but you're not following the Bible. You're following liberalism. The real moral teachings that come for you is from what they taught you in school and what they told you in the West and what you hear in the media and what your community tells you. And that's liberalism. None of that is an objective moral source that comes from God. So I would recommend every Christian, to open their book first, read what it says about women, because it couldn't say anything worse, in my opinion, and then see if they can talk about anything that says in the Quran about Islam. You know the Quran, what Islam. Now let me give you the contrast of what Islam teaches about women, not what Christianity teaches, which is what we just said. Now, what does Islam teach about women? Islam teaches, like the Prophet told us, that men and women are generally equal. There's no statement like this in the Bible. The Prophet told us that the Prophet told us the best of you are the best to their wives. The best of you are the best to their wives. And I'm the best to my wife. And that's why I told you, the Prophet was the example for us. He didn't beat his women. He treated them in the utmost respect and honor. This is what Islam teaches. Prophet said if you have 2 daughters and you take care of them, they will be a veil for you from the hellfire. The mother, the Prophet ﷺ said, a man came to him and said, who should I love and be good to the most after you? He said, your mother. He said, then who? He said, your mother. He said, then who? He said, your mother. Then he said, then who? He said, then your father. A woman in every level in Islam is taken care of. When you get married to your wife, she doesn't need to lift a finger and work. You have to work. You have to provide for the house. You provide clothing. You provide sustenance. Do all of that. And if she works, her money is her money. There is no religion that brought honor to women the way Islam did. Women before Islam, they were just objects used for fornication and all of that. Islam came, they were not allowed inheritance. Islam allowed them inheritance. They were not allowed to own property. Islam is the first religion to do that, to allow them to own property. When in Western countries, they were not allowed to own property. They were not allowed to be inherited. So nobody can come and point any finger at the treatment of women in Islam, especially if he's a Christian, Christian or atheist, or any other religion or faith. Nobody can come and say anything about the teaching of Islam. So my recommendation to you is to stick to the statement you made. You said, I wouldn't follow Islam. That's why I don't follow Islam, or I wouldn't follow Islam. Then stick to the same statement about your Christianity. Then you should say, I'm not going to be a Christian because these are the teachings in my book. Shouldn't that be a consistent position?
I mean, I guess I didn't know it said that.
There you go. Is there anything else I can do for you?
No, I guess that's it. Kind of. Yeah, I told my friend that if you refuted all my questions, that I would convert. So I guess now I have to do that. I didn't think you would actually do it. So, but
okay, خلاص, let's do it then, inshallah. Are you sure you're doing this?
Yeah, I bought this today. I told him that if you were able to refute all my questions, that I would convert. But I didn't think you'd actually do it. So
no problem, no worries. Okay, never say never, as they say, right? All right.
Yeah,
so,
I guess.
To become Muslim is a very simple process. It is testifying that there is nothing worthy of worship except Allah, God, and to testify that Prophet Muhammad is his messenger and servant. We'll say it in English first, and then we'll say it in Arabic. Say after me, I testify.
I testify.
There is nothing worthy of worship.
There's nothing worthy of worship.
Except Allah.
Except Allah.
And I testify.
And I testify.
That Prophet Muhammad.
That Prophet Muhammad.
Is his messenger.
Is his messenger.
And servant.
And servant.
Okay, we'll say the same thing, but in Arabic slowly. Say, Ashhadu.
Ashhadu.
Allah.
Allah.
Ilaha.
Ilaha.
Illa Allah.
Illa Allah.
Wa ashhadu.
Washhadu.
Anna.
Anna.
Muhammadan.
Muhammadan.
Rasul Allah.
Rasulullah.
That's it, my brother. You are officially, alhamdulillah, Muslim. And I'll tell you something. It's a respectable position when you are sincere towards the truth. Many people, their arrogance comes in the picture. Their ego comes in. I could not be. How am I wrong? I can never be wrong. I have to be true. But to accept the truth after the truth is presented to you is more admirable than anything else. So I ask Allah to bless you for that. I ask Allah to keep you firm in the truth. You said you tried to go to the mosque with your friends. So inshallah, they seem like very good friends, Trying to bring you closer to come closer to God and worship God. So I recommend you keep good company with them. And inshallah, take everything step by step, like learning how to pray and all of that. And I have an email. You're welcome to message me there. Send me your details. And I can connect you with our team if you like. If you have any other questions, you can ask them there. This is my email. So if you take a screenshot, and you're welcome to send me any questions you have, or your information, like your phone number, where you live, etc. And I will connect you to our team. And as I said, if you have any questions or anything like that, you're welcome to ask. Is there anything? I'm very, very happy for you. I ask Allah to keep you firm in the truth. I know it's a big decision that you took. That's why I asked you if you were sure. But trust me, there isn't anything that anyone can come up with that shows that Islam is not the truth. And there's a million things I can come up with to show people that not only Christianity, but any other faith is not the absolute truth from God.
Okay. Yeah, I really didn't think that the Bible said any of that stuff. So that's kind of crazy that even I mean, I can't say that I'm not going to follow Islam if Islam says that, and then the Bible says that, and then I continue following. That's just not right.
It's not sincere. So. It's not sincere. It's not consistent. Yes, and sincerity, like I said, it's a very admirable characteristic. And the reason I told you the Qur'an is because I wanted your raw reaction. Because remember, I told you about confirmation bias. If I told you it's the Bible, then you'll instantly try to find a reason to respond. But when you realize, okay, the confirmation bias is not going to come out, you'll give your objective raw opinion when I tell you if this is what the Quran says, right? So it's very important, and I do appreciate you coming on. A lot of people say, they're very happy for you, and like I said, you keep company with your friend, inshallah, keep company with your friend. Some people are saying, why is he not smiling? It's like putting a gun on your head or something.
It's just so crazy.
You're shocked. You're in shock. I get it.
That just doesn't make sense. That just doesn't make sense.
You are in shock. I get it. Yeah. Look, there are a few videos on my channel where I talk about that and give references. But even when I upload this video, you'll be able to see the references of the Bible and everything. And even basically Google search after I talk, you'll see everything I just told you in the Bible. So, all right, Don. Unless I can do anything else for you, please, like I said, make sure to email me and I will connect you to our team. And if you got any questions or anything like that, then we will have a chat. All right?
Yeah, I'll do that now.